friends, and welcome back to EVE Online with me, Mark from Dadex, and today we're going to run a 4 out of 10 Psi Outpost in this here Myrmidon. It's Furia's Myrmidon. She is an alpha, of course. That is reflected in the fit. I shall explain as we go along. We've got the 150mm dual prototype Gauss guns up in the high slots to provide us with a little bit of close range DPS, additionally to the drones. With thorium ammo, they've got a 12km optimal and a 22km fall off. Not bad contribution to the DPS, and thorium ammo is really the longest range ammo I tend to use with railguns. If you use tungsten you can pull range more, but the DPS drops off a lot more. We've got restrained micro warp drive just so I can control range. I'm not going to use it very much. We've got a cap recharger 2. That is boosting our cap recharge by 20%, which is great. We've got an enduring omnidirectional tracking link, which is running tracking speed scripts for the drones. The medium drones will therefore be able to hit the smaller rats, the frigates and destroyers, easier. So that's what that is really there for. We also have a cap battery too, giving us even more base cap on top of the recharger, which is topping it up. That's a large cap battery. It's actually giving us about 50% extra cap. It gives us resistance to getting neuted. That's not an issue today, but it was on the sites that this was made to run. The good old target painter, one of my favourites. I guess it's becoming one of my signature modules. It helps the guns, the drones, and even your fleet mates hit the rats better, and it can get you aggro even if your guns can't reach the rats. What more do you want? This fit was made for the EOM Capital shipyard sites a while ago. I haven't had time. It's 2:30 in the morning when I'm doing this to tweak the fit for this site. In the low slots we've got 3 drone damage amplifier 2s and 1 medium armor repairer 2. This module right here, compact layered energized membrane, basically just adds 14.5% to your armor with no penalty in terms of weight or mass, which is great. On a bigger ship, in fact a battleship, that could be a good alternative hit point wise to a 1600mm plate. And the non-energized version of that module requires just 1 power grid to fit. It does give less of a percentage, about 9% bonus, but worth thinking about, so I left that there just so I could talk about it. That could easily be swapped out straight away for a second medium Repper 2 if I wanted to get loads of tank, and I could run those for 5 minutes if the micro warp drive wasn't running. Alternatively, I could just switch it out maybe for a mag stab for a bit more gun DPS. I've only got Galante Battlecruiser level 3 skill at this stage, so my drone bonuses aren't what they could be. Another regular friend of mine, the reactive armor hardener, that's going to swing those 15% across the board resistances as it takes damage. So if we're only taking thermal and kinetic damage off the rats, it will basically apply about 30% to each of those. It can go up to full 60% on one damage type if that's all you're getting. They are literally reacting to the damage that you're getting, so there is a delay on them moving and adjusting the resistances. But for a general roaming ship, when you're mostly going to be dealing with rats giving 2 types of damage, it's quite a good module to have in there. You can min-max better maybe for a specific site or rat type, but that's for you to sort out as and when you're ready to. In the rig slots we've got 1 medium auxiliary nano pump. That gives us a 15% boost to the armor repair amount from the repairer. Then we've got a collision accelerator for the hybrid guns. That's just a simple 10% boost to damage, just to top up the damage a little bit. And a semiconductor memory cell. That's actually boosting the capacitor by 15%. So we've got a lot of capacitor. We've boosted the recharge with the cap recharger to keep the Repper running. So that is basically, our fit is a battery to keep the Reppers running and the guns firing. And occasional use of the micro warp drive. On to the all-important drone bay. The Myrmidon, of course, is bonus 10% per level of the battlecruiser skill for drone hit points and damage, and a 7.5% bonus to armor repair amount, plus a 12.5% from the hull, regardless of skills, to the drone micro warp drive speed. Basically, get around grid quicker, close with the targets quicker. That's quite handy. So we've got 5 Hornet 2s and 5 Caldari Navy Vespers giving kinetic damage. And I've got 10 Federation Navy Hammerheads and 10 Hobgoblin 2s to give us some thermal damage. Exactly the 2 types that Serpentis don't want. One rat on this site is particularly susceptible to kinetic damage, I believe, so that's why we'll switch to the Vespers for him. With the 5 Navy medium drones out, we get about 250 DPS just from the drones. The guns are a top up. I'm going to stick with the thorium most of the time, but if we can get close enough and we're absolutely fine damage wise, then we shall switch to antimatter. And the boss man, he needs killing pretty quickly, so we will close with him. In fact, he'll close with us. We'll hit him with the antimatter guns and the Caldari Navy drones, because I'm sure he's the guy that we need to hit with kinetic damage as much as possible. And we'll all be good. This ship is probably a little bit OP for the site we're about to run. You could certainly meta some of these modules, particularly the cap battery and the cap recharger. Have a look at how we run the site and see what you think, how low we get on cap, and whether you think you could downgrade this ship. But I don't have brilliant skills. It is an alpha clone, but this ship I'm very confident will get the job done, even though it wasn't built for this site at all. None of the modules on this fit are at all expensive. The hull is by far the most expensive part of this fit, which is good. The drones, the Navy drones, now those 30 Navy medium drones, they total over 30 million in cost. I am pretty confident, again, wait till you've seen our little run through, that you'd be more than fine either with cheaper faction drones, the integrated drones, or indeed just the basic Vesper ones and Hammerhead ones. To be honest with you, you can certainly carry enough to afford to lose one or two if it comes to that. Anyway, a quick look as always at the EVE Wiki mission guide page. Lots of frigates on this site, but thankfully none of them are going to web us or point us, so nothing can stop us from running away whenever we feel like it. There's a structure in the first room, contains the key to the gate to the second room, and this battleship is the loot guy in the second room. He will charge out. He's the one we're going to keep the Caldari Navy Vespers for, because he's the one that is going to hit us with kinetic damage, and we're going to hit with kinetic damage. Right, let's get out there. Actually, before we do, I have got one booster down in the hold. And that's for emergency low-sec use, to be honest with you. But I'm just going to check what I've got here stacked up in my little collection of boosters that we get given. They do expire if you don't use them, so this is just a little reminder to have a look. Let's see if there's anything that might be a little bit useful. Some of them I've got a kind of something in mind for. But I tell you what should we... Damage is an easy one to go for. But no, I think today we shall make our Myrmidon 3% quicker. That'd be perfect. Yeah, we'll have this one. 3% maximum velocity. Not something I've got any special use in mind for, so we'll pop that one, why not? And then top left up there in the screen, you can see the circle with the little lightning flash in it. That's the booster timer, so that's going to run down. When that runs out, the booster is no longer in effect. Okay, we're heading out to the site now. It's rated 4 out of 10 as a dead site. Scannable in high sec and low sec, and I believe it also escalates from one site. I'll check that and get back to you. But I scanned this one down. We're going to go in, we're going to go straight in. There's no one else around, we're in high sec. All very safe and lovely.
Warp drive active.
This hull is certainly very versatile indeed. I was just having a chat with some of the guys in the Centre for Advanced Studies NPC Corp chat. And you get 5 different jobs that you can do with a Myrmidon, and 5 completely appropriate fits that are all pretty accessible. You can go full drones, you can go brawl, you can go blasters, you can go dual rep. The choice is yours. Anyway, here we are. Let's get settled in. I've really done a crappy job of managing my drones. I should have sorted these folders and stuff out before I get here. The rats are all over there. For now, I'm just going to fly. No micro warp drive, just head over that way, so I'm moving a little bit. No need at all to put the reactive armor hardener on at this stage, but we've got so much cap, it can't do any harm. The one we do want to get running is the omnidirectional tracking link, so the drones get a boost to their tracking. Right, I'm going to put the Caldari Navy Vespers out, I think, just because it's quicker admin-wise for now. I'll just remove that group. Really should have done this before I walked up here, but it is very late. Luckily, these are not very long sites to run, even for quite a low skill alpha in a battle cruiser. I've done them in heavy missile drakes. We're doing this run. The drake took about 25 minutes, which isn't bad, especially if you're in low sec, because the last thing you want to be doing is hanging around up there too long. And again, as I said, there's nothing there pointing you from the NPCs to hamper your evasive maneuvers should some become required. So we're going to start picking off these frigates. The drones are over there starting their work. I'll set the guns on them as and when they come into range. Once you've got a little bit of a measure for whether they're charging out towards us or not. And they're not, they're coming out, but it's pretty slow. Speeding the footage up now. Drones are managing. It's the smaller ships among the rats that are going to hurt the drones. So they're already taking a little bit of damage. And I actually want you to keep paying attention to the fact that I take no damage on the ship whatsoever in this first room. In effect, those drones tank all of the rats' damage, whether it's the bigger ships missing them or the smaller ships hitting them but not hitting them anywhere near enough. I'm just unlocking some wrecks there because I drag clicked that mob and got some wrecks. So if you're going to drag lock stuff up just from the screen, do it before you start killing them. Anyway, the drones, Navy drones, do remember, are tougher and apply their damage better than Tech 2 drones. So there is a reason to pay the extra if you really want to look at that. In this situation, that's kind of perfect because they've got a lot of frigates to kill. And as we see here, they're taking all the aggro and none of them ever get me scared at all. They seem to tank it quite nicely. Of the Navy drones, it's the Armada drones that will have the most overall hit points, but that's mostly their armour. Obviously that's not going to regen as the shields are on the Caldari Vespers. Myrmidon drones, by the way, are the fastest, and Galante drones get the best base damage. That's the differences between the four races and their drones, in case you ever wondered or didn't even know there were differences. And these Caldari Navy Vespers have got about 50% more shield hit points than the Tech 2 variant, and you can see they're tanking this. One's got a little bit low on shield, but then he stops getting the aggro, they're regenning. It's all good. So as standoff drones, Caldari Vespers do have something to be said for them. Obviously you do want to be directed by the damage type as well, because that's quite relevant. You don't want to be hitting the strongest resists just for the sake of some other utility in a race's drones, that's for sure. Anyway, we're going to just use that micro warp drive to get around. This loot box is in kind of an asteroid type thing. You've got to go over there to loot it actually. You can't just blow it up, even though I've sent the drones to try. So we're just going to burn over here. I must say, they seem to have updated the collision damage on structures and stuff like this quite a lot, because that seems a much smoother process of getting around that corner than it ever used to be. All we've got is the key and some pretty rubbish Overseer's personal effects, but we've got the key, that's what we really want. Of course we did get a railgun, mustn't discount that. Bit more drone admin before we get into the next room. No need to dilly-dally, look how much capacity we've got left. We haven't repped, we haven't been hit. Well done Caldari Navy Vespers, you tanky monsters. Right, let's go into the next room. It's going to be a little bit different because the rats are just going to behave very differently, particularly that boss rat. Whilst we're heading to the gate, let's talk about this very handsome Abaddon skins. On the screen right now are the names of the previous winners. For your chance to win one of these handsome skins, just leave me a comment down below, really. You can talk about Myrmidons if you like, what you do with yours, what you find it really good at, or anything you really like to comment down below at all, to be quite honest with you. The winners are picked pretty much by random, but the more sensible your answer, maybe the more attention I might pay to it. I'll give out the skins at the weekend as per usual. Thank you very much for taking part and good luck. So we're heading into the second room. I've got thorium ammo loaded so I can use the guns at quite a long range without having to get too close, maybe take too much damage. I'm just going to lock up the small ships first. They're the ones that are going to hurt the drones, remember. We haven't got anything to worry about in terms of web or point. So we're just going to move over there in that general direction for now. Get the drones out. Keep an eye on them. We put the hammerheads out this time, so they're going to go in and get involved in the fight. We'll get the guns on the rats as and when they come into range, as they are starting to now, with the target painter flicking around between the rats as appropriate, really. One of those poor hammerheads is already taking a little bit of a beating. There are a lot of small ships out there on grid to be shooting at them. So I'm going to pull those guys in. I shall take all the aggro proudly and defiantly. So we'll just work with the guns for now. I'm going to put the Hornets back out. They're just smaller. They're going to deal with the smaller ships better. Take a little bit less damage because the bigger ships shan't be able to hit them at all. So we'll let the Hornets get out there and do their work. Keep an eye on them. I'm not too worried about losing a Tech 2 light drone or two. You know me. But you can see there's a lot of rats just over there. We're staying over here for now. We're waiting for the battleship to come out to us. And he will. He'll come out fast, and as he gets in close, the damage will start ramping up. We're going to do what he expects the least, and we're going to charge him with antimatter ammo loaded and our repper running, and we're going to kill him quick. So we're just going to wait for him to get reasonably close. I don't want to have to get so close to the rest of that mob that they can really interfere with me taking down this battleship. So that's the plan. We lost the Hornet pretty quickly there, so I pulled those and put the hammerheads back out because, well, you know, I brought those Vespers to give the kinetic damage to this big fat rat. I've forgotten about that. So the hammerheads are dealing with it anyway. But they're not taking any aggro because the battleship is now so far away from his friends they can't really give him any support in fire. So we're finally running out of shields. We're letting him get in closer. We're just going to get in so we can get the antimatter hitting him nice and hard. We're going to rep. We can rep a lot. I'm going to burn just once with the micro warp drive just so I've got control of the range and I'm going where I want to be. We are going to turn around as he starts dying and get him much closer just to finish him off. I'm pleased to say the rest of the rats, they're not charging to his support, are they? So we're going to turn back towards him now. We can deal with the DPS we're getting from him, and he can't deal with the DPS he's getting from us, so we're going to win this. So we're in about half armor, is as low as it gets. We're not overheating anything, we're not panicking, we are fine. And yeah, this last room, just let this guy come out to you. There he is right there. We can knock knock, let me in, I want your loot. He's got the loot. Once we're done here, we're done. We can kill the rest if we want to for bounties and maybe a bit of security status, but we just want the loot really. It's very, very late. It's a school night as well, don't tell anyone. Anyway, the drones are taking some damage, but they're surviving, they're fine. He's down. I'm just going to carry on pulling range a little bit. I don't want to fly back into the loot box and then have all those guys stomp me while I'm messing around grabbing a loot. So just turning back round now. Now we'll go in, get the loot box. Drones are pulled. I don't think we're really going to need them. Now I put the Vespers out actually. What was I thinking? There you go. The tanky old Vespers can go and deal with the rats while I can concentrate now on the loot. So the job is done really. As I say, whether we kill anything else or not is up to us. I'm just going to clear the rats that are around the loot box, which in effect is the wreck for that battleship. And let's see if it was all worth staying up this late for, shall we? Now if we were in low sec doing this site, the D-scan would be open, set at probably 10 AU, 5 AU, depending on the actual system that I was in and its geography. Anything came on there I didn't like the look of, I'd be aligning out and ready to go. As I say, we've got no rats pinning us down, which can be a right pain. So yeah, if you're in low sec, remember, keep that D-scan busy. It is your friend, the best friend you're ever going to have. People can scan the site down using regular scanner probes, or of course they could scan your ship down directly using combat scanner probes. So look out for both on your D-scan and just leave when you feel uncomfortable. That is always the best way. Anyway, my friends, the moment of truth. Has it all been worth it? Let's have a look. 136 millions worth of worth it. We'll take that. We've got some nice modules there. We don't need to kill anything else on the site. I'm just going to make a move. If I was in low sec, it would definitely be advisable not to just stay up here killing rats for a laugh. It's bedtime, so I'm not going to stay here killing rats for a laugh. So I'm going to pack up me heroic drones. I lost one Hornet 2 in that running there. Sorry, drone. We have a Corellum C-type multi-spectrum energized membrane, 38 million. We got a Corellum C-type explosive energized membrane. That's a couple of million. And the big boy, the Corellum C-type 10 NM afterburner. That weighs in at a whopping 94.5 million. I think those prices are reasonably accurate. I'll certainly take it. That seems to be this Hyperion paid for. Again in one site. Which is always a very fortunate situation to get yourself into. Obviously the loot drops will vary. I do show the runs in some of my videos where I plow myself through a site and I get a very rubbish drop. It happens, so I want your expectations to be realistic. But a fire outpost certainly can drop this level of niceness. It's only about 25-minute time on site, even if you've got quite low skills and low DPS. Definitely worth a go. Anyway, my friends, I hope you've enjoyed this, found it useful, interesting and entertaining. Leave me a like if it has, please. Any comments down below. Leave your in-game name if you want to be involved in the giveaway, and good luck with that. But for now, my friends, look after yourselves and each other. Remember, even is believing. Fly brave. And for now, my friends, goodbye.